Right, so here we go. So to start off, just taking delivery of my brand new Skywatcher EQ6-R Pro mount. Bought it from the good folks at Trim Astronomy. Got some really sound advice from them. Well worth doing a bit of research and well worth the phone call to have a chat about the pros and cons of various options. This is the mount that I've decided to go with. I guess it's important to say that I haven't just gone plump straight for this mount. I've originally bought a Celestron AVX mount, which is a cracking little mount, to be fair. It was my first go-to mount and it did everything that I wanted it to do. It was portable, lightweight, very easy to set up, very well supported, and just an all-round good mount. It tracks really well. I found that with 3-star alignment and good polar alignment, the go-to functionality is superb, and I was really pleased and still am really pleased with the mount. However, I did feel like I was just beginning to hit a brick wall with guiding on that mount, so I've decided to invest in an upgrade, hence the EQ6-R Pro. I'm still going to keep my AVX mount. It's like I say, it's a cracking little mount, and for visual use, for go-to and everything, and for shortish exposures for astrophotography, really pleased with it. Reasons why I chose this EQ6, well, I've got ideas to build a small observatory. I want something that can sit quite nicely in the observatory, with the idea that once it's set up it'll just stay there. I won't be sort of taking it down and then taking it away and then bringing it back again. It's a significant upgrade really from the AVX. It does have, which we'll see in a bit, a handle on it which makes it really nice, really portable. But it's an all-round better mount, I think. Its payload is increased compared to the AVX, and while I don't have the large scopes, if you like, I'd like to put onto it. I've only got an 80 EDR telescope at the moment. It does give me somewhere to go in the future if I want to get a larger telescope or 2 telescopes or whatever the case may be. So yeah, there's a lot of good and exciting stuff to read about these mounts online, and I'm really excited about starting to use it. True to form, we've been having somewhat of a heat wave in the UK in the last few weeks. I take delivery of a new mount and it starts to rain, and there's now a bit of a wishy-washy forecast for the next couple of weeks. If it's not rainy, it's going to be cloudy. If it's not cloudy, it'll be sunny in the day and then foggy at night, or whatever. So it is what it is. That's just the way astronomy works. So yeah, if you're clouded out for the next couple of weeks, blame me. So next thing we'll do is we'll start unpacking and have a bit of a butcher's at seeing what we've got. Look forward to it. So here we go. So yeah, arrives in the standard Skywatcher boxes. There's the usual little scrapes and dints on the boxes from transit, but doesn't matter. It's in protective boxing, protective packaging. That's what it's there for. So just cut open these straps. Got the packing slips and stuff there. I'll like those out later on. I'll have a bit of a look later. Let's take a look and see what we've got in here. This is a completely new mount to me, so I've got a vague idea of what I should find, but there might be a couple of surprises. Hello, doggy. You're just wondering why I'm walking around the living room talking to myself, aren't you? Eh? What can you smell? What can you smell? Okay, so we've got one box here, which I guess is going to have the counterweights in, judging by how heavy it is. So one of the counterweights, pop that back in there. Put that, whoops, that'll be the bottom fall out of the box, so we'll pop that over there. Come back to that later. This side, yeah, this is the second counterweight. So yeah, good sturdy weights there. You can see in the middle the little grub screw which clamps down onto the counterweight bar. So pop that over there with the other one. Another box. Let's just get rid of this one. And see what we've got in here. Oops. Trying to run the knife along without sticking the blade in too quick. I don't want to scratch whatever's in these boxes. Probably not the most ideal things I'm used to opening boxes, but there we go. And we'll just put the blade away for a moment. So in here we've got the 2-inch steel tripod. In the bubble wrap, got the accessory tray, which kind of doubles up as a bracket to keep the doubles up as a bracket to keep the tripod legs sprayed. Gella, we don't want to play with the pig for a minute. No, it's too noisy. Yeah, too noisy. Good boy. Good boy. So yes, bracket, accessory tray that fits underneath the tripod. Help lock those legs in position. And here we go. Move that box out of the way. So a significantly constructed tripod. It's it's really chunky. I mean, I guess it needs to be because it's supporting all that weight. But yeah, it's quite a lot bigger than the other Skywatcher tripod that I've got. And then you'll have to excuse the dog playing with his toy, bless him. He's been on his own most of the day. So under here then, just got this screw for attaching the mount to the top of the tripod. So yeah, happy with that. All looks in good working order. Having a bit of a look around. Nothing's scratched or dented. Yeah, all pretty good. Adjustable legs like you get on all astronomy tripods, really. So yeah, pretty pleased with that. So now we move on to this box. Whoa, sorry dog. So let's see what we've got in here. So, how big is this? I don't know, it's about that big. Probably somewhere in the region of, I don't know, 50 centimetres square by around about 30 centimetres deep. There or thereabouts. Again, being very careful running the knife along here to get into into the box. So you will put your head in the way, dog. So anyway, so as you can see, we've got one box open, only to be faced with another box. Let's take that out as well. And here we go. This is getting to the nitty gritty now. This is getting to the fun part. So the first thing you're faced with at the top is the instruction manual. You can download all these online as well. I think I've had a bit of a flick through some of the online manuals as well, just to get a bit of a better idea of what was what. So instruction manual, I will be reading it as I put things together. Well, this bit's going to be quite tricky. We'll see how we go. So, top bit of packaging. A top tip with the packaging actually is keep hold of all the foam that comes with it, especially the mount, especially this part. When you think of it, it's cut to measure. The actual mount and its contents, and there's compartments already moulded in there for everything. So in the future, if I do want to transport this around, then I don't need to worry about keeping the box, but if I keep the foam, and then I can either buy or make a case, drop these purpose-made pieces of foam into that, and hey presto, it's already there, ready to go. Yeah, that was a good tip that I read online when I had my AVX mount. So I've still got the original foam packaging from that, and I bought a small carry case, which the foam fitted into quite nicely, and yeah, got a really good case out of it. So anyway, back to this. So we've got some cables for connecting the hand controller to your computer. I guess that's the cable which allows you to do triggering of DSLR cameras. I'm not absolutely sure on that. And then a couple of little tools. Okay, so this is there's two cables in here. One of them is the power supply, and the other one is a curly cord which connects, by the look of it, I would say it connects two parts of the mount together. I don't know, that's what the instructions are for. So anyway, more cables. And here we've got the SynScan hand controller. Very, very important piece. Can't really do much without it. Let's pop that back in there. We have here, this feels like an extension bar, a counterweight bar I should say. Let's just take a look. Well, looks to be one part of it, one little bar, and I'll just wrap that back up. What we got here, so adjustment knobs for attaching the mount. God, lots of toys. What's that? Oh, this is the bracket that will clip the hand controller to the leg of the tripod. By the look of it, comes with its own little instruction set in there as well. And then I guess this is the bit which most people will be waiting for. So this is the mount. Oh, blimey. I don't know how I'm going to get this out here. Good God. Right. It's coming. Hang on a minute. So I guess first thing to say is that it appears all the clutches are loosened off. So anytime you touch it, it just seems to spin around. So I've just tightened those up a wee bit. Oh. There we go. Let's bring him round. So it's a weighty old beast. It's quite heavy. So yeah, we got our little bubble level there for leveling it off. Got the altitude dial in there. Here's the extension bar by the look of it. So I can so that retracts. That's quite nifty. I quite like that. Bog standard on-off switch. There's the camera snap for doing your DSLR power, and then your hand controller and your auto guiding port. Yeah, that's about it at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'll just set this back down here. I'll have a bit of a read of the manual and get things mounted up, and then I'll be back then with it all put into place with a bit more feedback. So here we go. Just something else which I found. It's the packaging list, so all the little bits and bobs and knickknacks. Good little list there, so you can check off all the little bits that that you find when you open it all up. So I've checked through this, everything's there. So I'm going to have a crack at putting it all together. So here she is, all put together. Really pleased with it. It's built really well. It's a solid mount. My first impressions. Just going to go through a couple of things on here which other people might find useful if they're considering getting a mount like this. So yeah, a couple of interesting little knickknacks. So this is quite groovy. Sort of extendable counterweight arm. So you can tighten that up there, loosen it off, comes out. Makes life really good for storing the mount elsewhere. And obviously, I say obviously, you don't know, but you can unscrew that, and there's an extension bar then which will come out probably down to about here if you needed to extend it at all. So yeah, that's a groovy little thing really. Something of interest I noticed. Come to these bolts in here. So when you start digging through everything, you find that you get a bit of paper like so. So it's actually shipped with 316mm bolts and 101mm bolt. 2 of the 116mm bolts go each side here. So that's all well and good, that's straightforward. But this one here, you can use either 110 or the 116, and on a bit of paper, say if you're at a latitude of 18 degrees or more, then you use the 101mm bolt, which is the one that's in place. That's the one it comes shipped with, actually in situ. If your latitude is below 18 degrees, then you need to take that out and swap it for the 116mm bolt, which is stored with it. Shipped with it. Quite an important thing to remember. Obviously, most people will just fit the one bolt and that will be it. Not much need to chop and change, but it's worth remembering that, because if you ever come to sell the mount to somebody else or whatever, you want to make sure that all the bits and bobs are right, and everything is there. So so you will find that you have one bolt left over, but that's by design. Other things I quite like the dials here, so you can read your latitude quite easily. It's quite hard to get the camera to focus at the minute. In fact, it probably won't. So, but yeah, it's very clear dial on there, so you can get a good reading and make your adjustments quite nicely. If you come up to this little panel area, so the hand control plugs in. That's quite nice and easy. There's your auto guide port. It's pretty good because you can't physically mix it up, so your hand control has to go in there. It's quite an interesting little socket for the power. So you just unscrew that here, pull him out, and Again, it's a bit out of focus, I'm afraid, but I can't do much about that at the minute. So yeah, it's slightly unusual, sort of like dual pin arrangement, but that slots in and the collar just screws on quite nicely, and it's got your standard cigarette lighter end to it, which will just plumb into your power tank. You'll have to excuse if you can hear my phone. You'll have to excuse me because Twitter's going nuts. All I did was tweet a picture of it and said thank you to Tring for helping me choose it, and it seems that everybody's liking it and retweeting it and all the rest of it. Anyway, ignore that for the time being. So the couple of little tools that come with it are used typically for this sort of thing. So we have the setting circles here, which can be loosened off, tightened up and everything, and set appropriately. The other thing to bear in mind is that it comes with a polar scope built into it. So if we look down here, we can take that cover off. So the polar scope is in there. I've not read up on it yet, but there are small Allen key holes in there, which I guess you would loosen those off to help rotate the polar scope so it's looking the right way for you, or set up correctly. But that's all well and good. That just clips on. Little screw underneath there. Go up. So we've got, I don't know if you can see out my front window, that's not the best of views, is it? So on top here we've got the mounting plate where the telescope will fit in. So it takes that normal sort of like Vixen type shape, and then that flat plate, I think it's called is it Lost Mandy plate? I can't remember. But yeah, so options there for different types of mounting that you might want to use. That's about it. So yeah, really pleased, really pleased. What do you think of it, Gallet? Are you excited? Not really. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I think, yeah, what I'm going to do now is just have a bit more of a look at it and make sure everything's happy. I'm happy with everything, and then take it all apart again. We'll see what happens with the weather. I'd like to think I can get outside with this now in the next week or so, but nights are still quite short at the moment. I mean, it's only the middle of July, so we still have quite minimal darkness at night, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you again soon.